Once upon a time, there was an old mother pig who had three little pigs and not enough food to feed them. So when they were old enough, she sent them out into the world to seek their fortunes. The first little pig was very lazy. He didn't want to work at all and built his house out of straw. The second little pig worked a little bit harder, but was somewhat lazy too, and he built his house out of sticks. They sang, and then they danced, and then they played together for the rest of the day. The third little pig worked and built his house all day long. It was a sturdy house complete with a fine fireplace and a chimney. It looked like it could withstand the strongest winds. The next day, a wolf happened to pass by the lane where the three pigs had lived, and he saw the straw house, and he smelled the pig inside. He thought the pig would make a mighty fine meal, and his mouth began to water. So he knocked on the door and said, little pig, let me in." But the little pig saw the wolf's big paws through the keyhole, so he answered back, "No, no, no, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." Then the wolf showed his teeth and said, "Then I'll huff and puff, and I'll blow your house down." So he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew the house down. The wolf opened his jaws very wide, and bit down as hard as he could. But the first little pig escaped, and ran away to hide with the second little pig. The wolf continued down the lane, and he saw the second house made out of sticks. And he saw inside the house, and smelled the pigs inside. And his mouth began to water as he thought about the fine dinner they'd make. So he knocked on the door and said, little pigs, let me in." But the little pigs saw the wolf's pointy ears through the keyhole, so they answered back, "No, no, no, not by the hairs of my chinny chin chin." So the wolf showed his teeth and said, "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down." So he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew the house down. The wolf was greedy, and he tried to catch both pigs at once. But he was too greedy and got neither. His big jaws clamped down on nothing but air, and the two little pigs scrambled away as fast as their little hooves would take them. The wolf chased them down the lane and almost caught them, but they made it to the brick house and slammed the door before the wolf could catch them. The three little pigs were very frightened. They knew the wolf wanted to eat them, and that was very, very true. The wolf hadn't eaten all day, and he had worked up a large appetite chasing all the pigs around, and he could now smell all three of them inside the house, and he knew they would make a lovely feast. So the wolf knocked on the door and said, little pigs, let me in." But the little pigs saw the wolf's narrow eyes through the keyhole, so they answered back, "No, no, no, not by the hairs of my chinny chin chin." So the wolf showed his teeth once more and said, "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down." Well, he huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and he huffed some more, and then he puffed some more, but he could not blow the house down. At last, he was so out of breath that he couldn't huff and he couldn't puff any more. So he stopped to rest and thought a bit. But this was too much. The wolf danced about with rage and swore he would come down the chimney and eat up the pigs for dinner. But while he was climbing on the roof, the little pig made up a blazing fire and put on a big water pot full to boil. Then, just as the wolf was coming down the chimney, the piggy pulled off the lid, and plop, in went the wolf into the container. So the little piggy put the cover on again and boiled up the wolf, and the three little pigs ate him for supper.